It's now my distinct pleasure to be joined by the head coach for Vitality, Duke. Duke, welcome. Thank you so much for joining today. How is life over there in the Vitality house on the Vitality team?
Surprisingly good. Surprisingly good. We had a really rough split, even a rough year last year, but the morale has always been pretty high. Uh, and at the moment, everyone is really focused on getting better and improving together. There is a good mindset within the team, so all good despite the bad results.
And I have to say that is impressive because I mean you already said it yourself, but 2020 it just felt like you guys never got to start properly. You had visa issues, you
hmm
had so long you spent just trying to get your roster together on stage that it never feel like you guys really got the chance to develop. And then coming in this year and having it also be difficult, I imagine can be quite hard. Do you still feel like are you seeing week to week kind of the progress and development that continues to give you like hope in this Vitality lineup? Because you're one of the few teams that committed to the vast majority of your players, that that doubled down on a roster that did have a really rough year.
hmm Um, it's vastly different from last year. I think this roster, I doubled down on it, but it's the roster that we mostly saw on the last 4 weeks of the last year. Um, and I think we were performing pretty well. I mean, better and better at this point. And at the beginning of this year, we just changed Cabo for Ziganda. And when we arrived in LEC, we were super optimistic actually because we were smashing scrims before preseason. And and after the first week, I mean, when we arrived at the first week, we threw two games where we were 5K gold ahead, and especially the game against Schalke where we 5v2 against the Nexus. It was a bit brutal for us, and it kind of broke the team. I think since then everyone has been traumatized, but we are like basically we were improving a lot during preseason. Then we fell down off a cliff after having our confidence broken after this week and the next 2 weeks against the top four, and now we are slowly climbing back. I think we hit our low on the week 4 against SK and XL where we were barely not playing. And at the moment, we are just working on our confidence. And from now on, I think we can only improve. Um, but it might take a bit of time still. But I think we are on the right path.
What do you do as a coach when it comes to those situations where the confidence really does feel broken? Because I think one of the big struggles of having a league format as opposed to like a tournament structure format is that it always feels like you're trying to repair a ship that is in motion, right? You don't have time to
Mhm.
stop playing, to like reset the mental. You have like maybe one day off a week from what I hear from most teams, and then you have to go right back to practicing. So, how do you actually, as a coach, support your players feeling better, getting that confidence back? Like, what is that process actually like for you guys?
And as a coach, I think it's the worst thing that can happen to have like to have confidence issues and to have difference from screens to stage. On the like on the other side, having being bad in scrims and being good on stage, which I had, for example, in the past in teams like Splice, for example, is first is stressing, but also pretty good when I mean because you get some wins. But in this case, it's really hard because there is no, I think, secret to solve it, and um, you can't just say to players just believe in yourself. Of course, they know this kind of thing. This is kind of the things that we want to show to the viewers. But the reality of the coaching is that you are 12 hours a day with those guys, and you have to give them specific advices for them to become better. And I think what we did and what we are currently doing is that we try to link the micro aspects of the game, so the specific, I would say, gameplay situations, with more the mindset and the mental that you need to approach those kind of situations, and how players need to, like, which mindset do they need at each point of the game to deal with every specific situation. And a specific situation can be contesting a mid wave, contesting a bush. How do you position before an objective? Those kind of things. And instead of having a super deep strategic approach, we are focusing more on the mental aspect of it, so that they know what they should be doing in those cases and how they should be feeling in those cases. Because what we struggle, especially, for example, if you look our lowest performances, which were the games against SK and Excel, it was games where we were not really playing. Actually, we were like, you could see, for example, like if you look at, I gave this example to somewhere else, but if you see when we play against Excel, you see Patrick tries with Shogath like walking up to us, and he's alone. Like, I mean, he's dead, but we are so afraid that we walk back, and we don't contest things. And this is something that we reviewed. We reviewed all the situation, and okay, in the situation, this is a moment where we have to walk up, and maybe someone has to say to walk up, but technically everyone, like, it should be a bit instinctive. And yeah, basically we are trying to solve case by case at the moment where we are not feeling confident in ourselves.
Yeah, and that sounds like a big undertaking, but I really do like the approach of rather than focusing on like specific strategic things, trying to teach this like this mindset thing and trying to slowly make mindset and mentality a little bit more structured and a little bit more strategic, as opposed to this thing that it's just like, just feel good, just be confident, just go in when you think you can go in, but actually trying to like establish a bit more structure there. I think it's a really smart way to tackle it. I do want to know though, you talked about like specifically the Cho'Gath instance where, he should have absolutely been dead if the players had the confidence to go in. You guys recently brought Crownshot onto the roster, mixed success since he's been there, but I'm curious if when he joined the team, is this something that was made easier because he didn't have, let's say, the same baggage that some of the other guys did? Was he more easily able to kind of be that voice of confidence in those situations? What were you actually looking for him to provide for the team when you brought him on?
And Crowny has really a different personality than the others. First, he's more experienced, and it adds a lot, as we were the youngest team in the LEC. With the least experience, I think adding a bit of experience actually helped us more than we thought. And in terms of personality, Crowny is like someone who really knows what he wants, and in game, because I talked about him bringing a lot of shot calling ability to the team. It might have been a bit vague. It's more that he brings a bit of decisiveness in the mid-late game about what we should do, which fight we should take. Because our problems is that whenever there was a good fight for us, we were too indecisive to take it, and we were waiting the last moment to take it, which is the moment where it becomes a good fight for the enemy. And we were taking a fight not on our terms, and we were getting wiped. Where at some point you need to say, okay, now we fight. Here, like, they are crossing this line. We have to fight. We have to jump on them. And this is the part where we were struggling, right? And Crowny is really bringing this decisiveness and on some calls, that, whether they are good or bad, but sometimes it's better to have 5 people going in the same direction than 5, even if the call is not the best. And for example, against Fnatic, when we decide to run down top at the end of the game, and like Wipo tries to catch Crowny and they get taste and we win. This was Crowny just saying, okay guys, go in, don't stop. So Crowny brings a lot of decisiveness, confidence in himself, and is all around. Also, he remotivated the team, even if the atmosphere was not the worst at this point. I think he really brought everyone together again. Because I mean, it's kind of the honeymoon period, all the time, where it's always a fresh start when someone comes to the team, and at this point it was needed.
Yeah, and it's really good to hear that it has been a positive impact for you guys, and a good win overall versus Fnatic, and excited to see kind of how it develops in the week to come. To round things out, I would love to know what you're telling to the team and what the team as a whole, like what you guys feel like your ambition is for this split. Playoffs isn't out of the picture, but it would take a miracle run similar to what Schalke had last season. What is your actual goal? What are your actual ambitions for this team for this season in spring, and then maybe for the year as a whole?
It's hard to say, because when we arrived in the beginning of the split, we were beating pretty much everyone in scrims. We were feeling super confident, hoping that we would be a top team, and the harsh reality came in, and we fell down off a cliff. And now, what is our ambition? I think for spring split, of course, playoff is still in the back of our mind. But as you said, like, we need to basically win at least 6 out of our 7 games. Which sounds hard, especially when we face G2 and Mad Lions next week. But everything is possible. We'll see. But what is important for us at this point is to prove ourselves first that we still have it, And I think we do. I think it was just a matter of confidence. And if we get this confidence back a bit, I think then we'll be able to work fast on the other aspects of the game that we already worked on before. So to prove ourselves that we can still be strong and that we are strong for Summer Split, and to some extent also prove our fans who have been supporting us all the way, even through those really harsh time, and to give them back something in Spring Split to make them wait for a good Summer Split.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Shigenda talked about it in his interview as well after his really big pop-off Aatrox performance, how great the Vitality fans have been. So shout out again to all the Vitality fans who continue to support the team through thick and thin. And Duke, thank you for the interview and for your very candid answers. Oftentimes when teams are struggling, it's very easy, I think, for a coach to just be like, well, we're working on it. Things are going to get better. Team mentality's fine. So I really appreciate you opening up and being honest about expectations, about the disappointment, and about kind of the ambition and the changes that can come for the team in the future. Thanks again for taking the time.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. All right, that's going to do it for us. We'll send it back to talk about the week upcoming. We'll wish Vitality a good luck up against Mad Lions and G2 in the week to come, and we'll be rejoined by Cajal and Ender in a moment.